Hello everyone. Hi and welcome to my classes, Ashutosh's classes on digital marketing. My name is Ashutosh Bharadwaj. I'm an experienced digital marketer, been working for around 10 years in the field of marketing and digital marketing. And I'm taking a free course, which is Learn Digital Marketing with Ashu, which is happening on Zoom. All these courses are available on YouTube. If you've missed any of the old courses, you can go in the description box and there will be a link to a playlist. In the previous courses, we've covered search engine optimization, how Facebook ads and digital ads work. We've also talked about WordPress, what WordPress is. Very, very interesting classes, long classes, and you can check them out in the playlist. Today is class 12 on Google Analytics. We'll be talking about web analytics, what Google Analytics is. We'll talk about the basis of Google Analytics. All right. So a big difference between offline and online advertising and offline and online mediums of marketing is that in online marketing mediums you can exactly predict and you can measure things very well. So if you put out some money and if you put out something in the offline world, it's very, very difficult to kind of measure the result that comes through it, or it's very difficult to quantify, put in numbers the result that comes through it or whatever is happening. But in online marketing, there are tools and there are ways by which you can exactly find out what your user is doing at any time on your website or on your web app. For this, there is something which is called Google Analytics, which is a free suite by Google in which you can install it on your website, and using that you can find out exactly what is going on your website, and you can also find out a lot of insights about user behavior and about what your audience is, and using that you can improve the performance, the marketing performance of your website. All right. So as I've Google Analytics is pretty complicated. First, I want to bring out the scope of this class. I'm not claiming that I will make you an expert. Like, you just attend this 1 hour, 1.5 hour long class and you'll become an expert in Google Analytics. I'm not saying that. What I will start with is the basics of Google Analytics. So we will talk about basically what Google Analytics is, the fundamentals. We will pick up a couple of things on Google Analytics, and there is a free demo account of Google Analytics which is provided by Google. I will be telling you how to access the account so that you yourself can go and you can play around with that account and start learning Google Analytics. I have to assure you that don't be scared. It might seem very intimidating at times because it's a big, big dashboard. There are hundreds, if not thousands of things, metrics that are there. But if we take it in a very, very logical way and in a very relaxed manner, I'm sure that we can learn all of it. All right. So I want to begin with not what Google Analytics is. I want to show you a simple situation which will make it easy to understand what web analytics is all about. Okay. So I have a website. Suppose I have a website. This is my website. So people come to the website. The whole point, if you would have attended the first lecture, I've talked about digital marketing as the practice, about like one of the aspects of digital marketing is the practice of getting people on your website. So I'm a person who's sitting on my laptop. I'm just drawing a laptop. My drawing is really, really bad. So this is my laptop. I have my Chrome browser. And in Chrome browser, I type a certain address. I say, okay, like, mywebsite.com. I hit on the go button and then this website loads on my browser. After that, I go to some place in the website. There is a big button on the website. I click on that button. It takes me to another page on the website and so on. I'm coming on the website and I'm doing some things on it. There can be a method by which I, who's the website owner, can track what is happening on my website. And when I say track, there are some things that you can definitely track. Let me take an example. So somebody comes to my website. All right. So this is my website and there is page A which has been loaded on the website. So I come on the home page or whatever page on a certain website. Suppose there is some kind of a third party some kind of a measurement third party. I'm just like, putting it out there. Suppose there is some kind of a measurement third party or some kind of a software. And imagine that there is some kind of a code. So there is some kind of a code which is embedded on this website. It's in the website. So that whenever this website loads on a browser, some information is sent to that third party. Okay. What information can be sent? Okay. So the first piece of information which might be sent, which can be sent very easily, is that because whenever this website loads, it is pinging something to the third party, which is, I would say, Google Analytics or Web Analytics. So what is the ping? The ping will say that at a certain point of time. So right now it is, I would say it is, it is 6:59. So at 6:59 p.m. Okay, at a certain time. So at this time, there was a certain person who opened page A on the website. Logical, right? It's not complicated. The browser knows which page has loaded up. It is page A. And at what time has that page been loaded? Because at that time a ping has been sent to Google Analytics. Correct? So I have information about the page A and the time at which it had been loaded. So at 6:59, page A website on a certain website was opened up. Google Analytics is aware of it. Okay. Now, during my browsing, I see a very, very interesting button on page A, and I click on the button. Button is really amazing. It's asking me to click on it, and I click on it. When I click on it, page B will load. So this was page A, this is page B. The code that I talked about, the code which is communicating with the third party, that code is also on page B. And now, as soon as page B gets loaded, another ping is sent to the third party. The ping is again, it says that at, let's suppose at 7, like 2 minutes after 7 p.m., this person, opened page B. Okay. Now what information I have? I have page B, which was loaded at a certain time, 7:02. Only these two pieces of information. Which page and the time at which a page has been loaded. These pieces of information are enough for me to bring out a lot of data about this website. Okay, so I can think about the behavior. So I know that the person traveled from page A to page B. I know that the person, if the page was loaded at 6:59, page A was loaded at 6:59 p.m., page B was loaded at 7:02 p.m., then the person probably stayed on page A for 3 minutes. So time that was spent on page A was 3 minutes. All this information, whenever a website is visited or whatever action is taking place on this website, all this information is sent to the third party, which is Google Analytics. And all of this information is compiled in a tool which is called Google Analytics, so that I can exactly find out what my people are doing, like what my visitors are doing on my website. Okay, there are so many things which can be tracked, and I will get into those things one by one, not all the things obviously, because otherwise it will become very, very confusing. I will excuse me, I will touch a couple of topics just to give you an introduction about what Google Analytics is. I don't want this class to be very long. Okay, I keep saying it every time my classes keep getting long, because you guys are just so amazing and there are always so many questions. What I want to talk about right now in this introduction, in this little part, is that there is a code on the website, and whenever a website is loaded, that code pings Google Analytics and gives some information to Google Analytics. And Google Analytics compiles all this information into a dashboard, which is the Google Analytics dashboard. And looking at that, I can take out some insights. For example, if somebody says, how long did this person spend on page A? It could be important, right? I mean, I want people to spend 10 minutes on my pages, but people are are just spending 2 minutes. That information can come from me. All right. So somebody says, okay, page A was loaded at 6:59. Page B was loaded at 7:02. So the person spent 3 minutes on page A approximately. This is something which is data, and that data can give me some sort of an insight. For example, if there is a page and that page, every other page has a page on, like, you know, time, like for every other page, the time is 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And there is one page in which the time is 5 seconds. There must be something wrong with that page, right? There must be something. So what I'm trying to say is this data is very, very nice. Okay, we'll get a lot of data. We'll look at a lot of data today. And we won't be looking at it through theory. We'll be looking at a demo Google account, and we will actually look at the dashboard and take out a couple of insights. My thing here is that data on its own does not make any sense. When data is combined with, with information, you take out some insights. You know, when data, I mean, I look at the data, I have some information in my brain, there will be some actionable insight which will come out. So if every page has a time of 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and there is a page which has a time of 5 seconds, there must be something wrong with that page. People are not interested to spend some time on that page. Okay, do you have any doubts at all? Any questions, any doubts? None? Okay. Now, how many of you I had sent, I had sent a message on the group for those who are watching this on WhatsApp. This is a live class. So we have people attending the class right now. I have a group in which I shared a demo account. So Google has created, Google wants everybody to use Google Analytics, right? It is anyway the most popular analytics, web analytics, app analytics software available in the market right now, because Google is backing it up. So Google has done something which is very, very wonderful. I'll share my screen and I'll show you. Now, Google has an e-commerce website which is called the Google Merchandising Store. You can see my screen. So, I mean, if you want to wear, like, it's not available in India, let me go to the Asian edition, whatever, or to the US edition. Okay, so this is an e-commerce website. A lot of people are very big fans of Google. So they're looking for, t-shirts, I don't know, what is this, like notepads, bottles, etc. They're looking for clothes that are branded Google clothes. And for that, there is an e-commerce store which has been set up. Normal e-commerce store, nothing complicated about it. So if I want to buy a notebook, I will go to this page and I will buy a notebook. Now, this is not the wonderful part. The wonderful part is that Google has given access to the back end of this website, to the Google Analytics backend of this website, which is available for everybody. So for everybody who's watching this on YouTube, I have included a link and instructions on how to get added on this website. At this point of time in the lecture, I would advise you to get into the website and get into this account and have this analytics dashboard open up, because this is our Karam Bhumi. This is the exact analytics website, database like dashboard in which we will be looking at reports. All right. Now, all of you who are attending this class, how many of you have access to this page right now? Okay, does everybody have access to this page right now? If you don't, I'll pause the recording and I will guide you through on how to get into this, because I want you to be on the dashboard. It is for free, you don't have to pay anything. All right, so anybody who does not have access, Pawan has access. Anybody who does not have access to this, I had shared a link. In that link, there was instructions and there was another link there. When you click on that link, you will be automatically, it will ask you, it will take you to Google Analytics. You will log in through your Gmail account, and after you log in, you will be able to access this dashboard, which is very, very important. So anybody who does not have, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just proceed with my class. Okay, I guess everybody has access, right? Awesome. So you guys who are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, pause the video right now. Look in the link. There is a link at the bottom. When you click on that link, you will be able to get access to this, analytics dashboard. Now, I want to, before I talk about, other things, I want to talk about, so here we talked about a couple of behavioral things. They were which page had been loaded up. So which page got loaded on the browser and the time at which the page was loaded. Okay. This is not just the only information which is collected by Google Analytics. All right. I will talk about a couple of other pieces of information which have been collected by Google Analytics. So anybody who has attended my previous classes would be aware of this. When I draw this, you know that this is called a funnel. A common funnel, or website funnel, or a sales funnel. So people begin at a certain place and then they end up somewhere else. So suppose I have my website, and in my website I have a certain audience. I have a certain audience. These are a group of people. Now the first thing is that I have to get these people to my website. So I can say that at first I need to acquire them. Acquisition. Acquire means that I have to take these people on my website. After I have acquired them, they will do something on the website, right? I mean, whenever you go on the website, you click on buttons. If it's an e-commerce website, you look at pictures, you look at reviews, etc. There is a lot of things which you do. All of that is called the behavior. And when you do something on the website, ultimately you will take some action on the website. For an e-commerce website, what is the action that I want other people to take? Tell me. Anybody? There aren't too many people, so you can also speak it out. It doesn't matter. It won't be chaos. Anybody?
Product, I suppose.
Exactly, right? I mean, it's logical. On an e-commerce website, and Vansh and Akanksha both have said, you need to make make a sale. You need to buy a product for it to count to anything, right? Increase in sales. So in a way, there is some action which needs to be taken. These actions are called conversions. So all of this information is collected by Google Analytics. Now, a lot of you will be scared. They would be thinking that, oh my God, whatever I do on a website, all right, whatever I do on a website is already available. A website owner can see whatever is available. Yes, it is the truth. If I have a website or an application, it's my application. I should be able to see what people are doing. And now all of you would be thinking, oh my God, what about privacy? So I want to assure you that all of this data is anonymous. Okay, don't worry about it. When you are there on Google Analytics, they know what you're doing, but they don't exactly know who you are. So they might know that, okay, Ashutosh from Delhi, Ashutosh age this, went on these pages, spent this much time on this page and did something. So Ashutosh, the audience, came through organic search, acquired through organic search, spent 15 minutes on the website viewing 5-4 pages and bought one t-shirt. You would know that there was somebody, but you would not know who the person was. So you won't be able to say that this was Ashutosh. So let me assure you, for Google Analytics at least, all of this information is anonymous. Now, why I'm telling you about these 4 things is because if you look at the Google Analytics dashboard, this is how everything is distributed. Okay, sharing my screen again. So just look at the dashboard. Don't get confused right now. Okay, nobody expects you to understand this in one day. It takes years for people to understand about things. So if you look here, ignore real time. There is on the left side, you have sections for audience, acquisition, behavior, and conversion. These are the 4 places, these are the 4 sections in which Google Analytics is broken. Who are they? Where did they come from? What did they do? And what kind of conversions did they complete? All right, Salika, please go ahead. Shoot. Do you have a question? Please speak it out. There aren't too many people today. No problem. You can speak freely. Just keep yourself on mute. When you want to say something, just say it out. Interrupt the class. I like it that way.
No, I'm so sorry. That was actually by mistake.
No problem. All right. So 4 things I want you to remember now. All right. Google Analytics knows who you are. Not exactly who you are, but they know some details about the audience. They know where you came from. All right. They know your behavior and what conversions you did. Okay. So now, if I talk about the audience, what all can be done about the audience? So you can know the age, maybe the gender of the audience, right? Okay. So within audience, you can know the age or the gender. There are a lot of things that you can know. I'm just listing a couple of things. All right. You can know where they came from. So the region, you can guess the region of the region where they came from. All right. Now, when you talk about acquisition, in acquisition, you can maybe know the source where the traffic came from. Those who had attended my first class, I had started the class by making a little bit of a model. I said that, okay, this is my website. How do you get people on this website? One way was through organic search engines. The other thing was through social media. Another one was direct traffic. When you straight away type the URL, all of this is noted by Google Analytics. So Google Analytics knows where your person was acquired from. So I can say that the source is available. Within behavior, we can think about a lot of things, you know, which pages were visited. So I have, you know, 500 pages on my website. Which pages was visited by this audience? How much time was spent, etc., etc. And when I talk about conversions, I can say very simply that what was the sale. So this user, how many products or what money value, how many rupees of products was bought by this person here. All right. So very, very simple. Google Analytics is spent into is distributed into 4 sections. And I keep repeating it again and again because this is an introduction. This is how you start. You know who they are, where they came from, what they did, and ultimately what conversions or goals were followed. Now, one last thing I want to, not last thing, one other technical thing I want to talk about that you need to remember, because I would suggest that you remember these sections because these are report sections on Google Analytics. Another thing that I want you to remember is there are 2 things two ways by which data is collected in Google Analytics. All right. The first is there are dimensions. Dimensions are attributes. So if I talk about which page was visited, where did people come from? These are attributes. These are not numbers. Okay. These are qualitative. So somebody asks me, which page is the most popular page on your website? I would say the page name is a dimension. Now my second question is, why is it so much popular? So I need some numbers. The second thing that I want to talk about is called the metrics. Metrics are numbers. These are quantitative numbers. So somebody said, which page? People visit a lot of pages on my website. Okay, they are on my website all day, all night long. Okay, so which pages were visited? Dimension is which pages were visited. These pages were visited. Which was the most popular page? I will say, okay, for that I need some information. So if there was page A was visited 100 times, page B was visited 1000 times, and page C was visited 10,000 times, The most popular page is page C because the quantity is 1000. So two things you have to remember: dimensions and metrics whenever you talk about Google Analytics. Is this getting too heavy for you? Abhi tak, is it getting very, very heavy for you? Because this is an advanced topic, guys. This is not a simple topic of website design and running an ad. And again, I don't want to scare you, because I am sure that if you play with that thing a little bit and you do a bit of study, especially because you have a demo account, you will be completely be able to understand, you know, who you're coming from. All right. So a couple of other things that I want to talk about is, how does Google know about all these things? All right. A very big question must be, okay, so I'm the audience. How does Google know my age, gender, and region? Right. So does anybody have an answer for that? Anybody wants to go for it? How does Google know where the audience came from? Anybody? Vansh says that we fill the details in Gmail. Not exactly, Vansh, but if you log in through Chrome, you log into Chrome by Gmail, right? And also browsers also, you know, so Gmail will, whenever you log in through Gmail on a Chrome browser, your age and gender will be included by Google. So Google knows, Google ka browser hai, Chrome is Google's browser, so they know your age and gender. Anybody has a clue about region? How do I know that this visitor is coming from this region? Anybody? Through the internet, from the location, right? Location, IP addresses. So if it is, you know, if it is a mobile phone, we share our location on mobile phone, but this is a bit inaccurate. This is done through the internet IP addresses. So, you know, whenever you are on an internet connection, the internet connection service provider is sending some IP addresses and the location to Google. All right. Now, where did they come from? The acquisition, the source. Google again knows this through the browser. The behavior, obviously, Google would know, because on every page of the website, there is something which is communicating with Google, telling them which page is being opened up by which person. All right. And conversions also the same way. Whenever you press a button, you have to set it up, obviously, but whenever you set up a button, you're telling all of this information, you're communicating all this information to Google. All right. Cool. So now I want to introduce a couple of dimensions and metrics to you. All right. Basic metrics. I won't talk about, like, I will just talk about, let's say, if I'm talking about metrics, let's talk about just 5 basic metrics. Nothing complicated, not difficult. I will first explain what these metrics are. And in the second part, I will show you these metrics in the Google Analytics dashboard, where they are, right? And we will take out some sort of insights, because, you know, numbers are very nice to look at. You look at numbers, oh my God, today there are 2,000 people on my website. Wow. You know, there are 2,000 people on my website. It's amazing. But what does that mean? There has to be always an insight which comes out of it. So Pawan has a very, very interesting question. So he says that, does incognito mode still catch Google data? That's a very, very good question. Yes, it does. Okay. So, you know, whenever you go in incognito mode, now, even though you're not logged in, so all data might not be captured. Like maybe because you don't log in, so a lot of things, maybe your age or gender, etc., is not taken out. But still, even if you go in incognito mode, it says that incognito mode, you cannot hide what you're doing from Google, from your internet service provider, because incognito mode is simple. Incognito mode means that people won't be able to look at your search history. Okay, so it is, you know, you can, it's the answer is sometimes some things are hidden, some things are not hidden. I suspect that even in incognito mode, Google knows, because you are logged in. When you take a Chrome browser, you're already logged in. Even if you put in incognito mode, it is coming from that browser only. All right. And again, I'm telling you, all this data is not very, very accurate. So it's not %, because Google always takes a sampling of the data. But anyway, it's as good as it gets. It's very, very good data for us. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about a couple of, you know, like just a couple of, couple of dimensions first. Okay. Which are important in Google Analytics. Abhi tak, I hope are you confused, Abhi tak? So out of a scale of 10, how confused are you? I want 3-4 volunteers to tell me how confused you are. Please type in the chat. because I know it is very natural for you to be confused, but don't worry. If you look at the dashboard for long enough, you'll be able to learn. There is not a lot of pressure. Okay, so a couple of dimensions. Again, dimensions are qualitative. They aren't numbers. They are attributes. Can I say page visited or the page? No problem, right? Page visited, Google knows which page I'm visiting. Okay. Can I also define the first page that I visited? So can I call that a landing page? Okay. So page is any page I visit. So I come on the landing page. I land on the landing page. Then I go on page 2, 3, 4. These are all the pages. This is just the landing page. Okay. And these are exactly terms that are used by Google as well. Page is the page visited. Landing page is the first page that you visit. Okay. Now, can I talk about something which is the source of traffic? Where did that traffic come from? A lot of people who had attended my first class would understand this. There are various ways by which people come on a website. For example, if people come through Google, the source is Google. All right. If they just type if they just type the website on Chrome saying okay mysite.com, hit enter, that source is called direct. Okay. If they come through social media, that source can be that social media that they came from. So it could be Facebook or Instagram, etc., etc. Now, within the source, there are various ways which can happen. Now, through Google, you can come through Google Ads, you can come through Google Organic. So, let me define another thing which is called the medium. So, the medium could be I come through Google, and through Google, I come through organic. Direct traffic does not have a medium, it is called medium none. Through Facebook, I clicked on a link on Facebook on the wall. So maybe I came on through a link through Facebook. So all this information, it's called the source medium. And this is an acquisition key information. So when you talk about acquisition, source medium is where did the person come from. Page and landing page are behavior dimensions. Where they came from and what they did. I am just going to introduce these, only these dimensions to you today. Okay. And on these dimensions, we'll be taking a lot of other, we'll be taking a lot of other things. There are other dimensions also. I can talk about the age of the person. I can talk about the gender. I can talk about the location of the person. And all of them are audience dimensions. So as we said, audience acquired through and did something, came on these pages and went on these different pages. Simple dimensions I want to introduce to you today. All right. Now, I want to introduce a couple of metrics to you, which are very, very important metrics. Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about, and this is a basic metric which is used not just in Google Analytics, but also in other web, softwares, is the session or the visit, or also called a hit. When somebody says a website hit or a website visit, they mean a website session. Let me tell you what a session is. So once again, I start with page A. So this is page A is my landing page. Okay. I come through organic on page A and I come at 6:59 p.m. Okay. As soon as this page A is loaded, the session starts. So this is a visit. As soon as page A is loaded, as I said, there is a communication which is sent to Google Analytics. Google Analytics says that, okay, at this time, somebody, and that somebody we'll talk about, somebody visited page A and stopwatch starts. Okay, time starts now. Somebody has visited this. Now, after this, somebody goes, like the same person goes at 7:02. They come on page B. Session is still continuing. The session has begun. It's in progress. Okay. Then somebody goes to page, the same person, not somebody, same person goes to page C at 7:05 p.m. and then they exit. This is a session. From start, first load till exit, you click on the cross sign. All of this is a session. Okay. Now, if I look at the session, I can also define something which is the session duration. Okay. So this thing started as 6:59. Okay. And then they spent 3 minutes here. Then they spent 3 minutes on page B. And suppose they spent 2 minutes here. 2 minutes here. Okay. So the total session duration is this 3 minutes plus another 3 minutes plus another 2 minutes. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 2, 6, 7, 8. 8 minutes is the session duration. 8 minutes is the total session duration. All right, cool. Now, do you have any doubts about sessions? Now, there could be a couple of questions that you would ask. The first question could be that if the session starts, as soon as I load my website, the session starts. Suppose I come on page B. So I come from page A to page B, and then I forget about the website, right? A lot of times it happens. We start with the website, we have multiple tabs that are open, and then we forget about the website. How long will the session start and continue going? I mean, when will the session end? Because the session will end obviously when there is an exit, when somebody, clicks on the cross button on top to close the session, to close the web browser. But how long will the session continue if nobody closes it? So by default, it's 30 minutes. There is a setting inside Google Analytics in which Google Analytics will consider a session. So Google Analytics will say that at 6:59, I got a ping. Now I'm waiting. I'm continuously getting pings from different places. The person is browsing the website from one end to the other. Okay. Now, when they go to, but suddenly I don't get a ping and I don't even see an exit. Okay. So nobody has closed the website. How long do I have to, how long do I have to stay to say that the session is closed? And again, I have a bit of a problem here. I said something that I have not detected a close. So Google cannot detect a close on the website. Okay. By default, I don't want to get into it, but Google says that, okay, a session began and there is no information. Should I consider that the session is over? How do I consider that the session is over? There is a time limit of 30 minutes. It is good enough for every website, but for some websites where you continuously browse the website, for example, for a Netflix, you keep watching. So this 30 minutes has to be extended. You remember Netflix would ask you some time ago, are you still watching? So it was confirming if you were still there. So for Netflix or for some video websites, this is not really 30 minutes. I can make it 60 minutes, 70 minutes. Because if after 30 minutes, the person comes back, if after 30 minutes, the person comes back, it's a new session. It's not the same session. All right. So we have a question from Pavan, I think. So Pavan, whenever there is no, whenever there is no interaction, okay, that session is over in a way. So whenever whenever you exit the page, the last action that you take, that is when the session is over. So even if the internet is gone, it's gone. The session is over. All right, because that browser, because now whenever the browser will reset, the thing will, the code will load once again. Okay, so session is visits. It is not people. Okay, cool, clear? Anybody has any doubts about this? I'll share some resources about what a session is, how a session is defined, because sometimes you might be looking at multiple tabs. So when you go from one tab to the other, this is very simple. Okay, I come from this page, go to this page and go to another page. If I think about a couple of complicated, like if I think about from page A, I took a tab to page E, B, C or whatever, that is a bit complicated, but in the end, that is what a session is. I came on the website loaded, I got a ping to Google Analytics, session begins. Until I exit the page or I leave it, okay, Google Analytics will consider that the session is still going on. All right. So I found out two metrics right now, session and session duration. Okay. How long was the session in minutes? This session was 8 minutes long. Again, there are some issues with this, but I don't want to take it today. I don't want to confuse you. I want to just introduce a couple of dimensions, and then I want you to become very happy by looking at these dimensions in Google Analytics, saying, wow, I know this. Oh, session duration, I know. Oh, user, I know. Okay, users, you still don't. Now let me talk about the second dimension or the third dimension that I want to introduce to you. A user. Who is a user? All right. I am a user if I have a session. So there is a website, page A or whatever on my website, my site. I come on the website and I trigger one session. Okay. Within the session, I do a couple of things. I am a user on the website. Now, one user can trigger multiple sessions on a website, correct? Any doubts? So let's assume Facebook. Okay, Facebook web app or website, it's the same thing. I visit Facebook. One person, Ashutosh, in one day visits Facebook 10 times. You do it also, right? I mean, you check it in the morning, you check it in the afternoon, you check it in the evening, you keep checking Facebook. So even if there is one user, that user is responsible for 10 sessions. Is that clear? Now there must be one question which everybody must be asking. How does Google Analytics know that it was one user and not multiple users, right? Okay, so it could be, there could be like within users, there could be Ashu as a user, there could be Habib as a user, there could be Pawan as a user. Ashu, Habib, Pawan, 3 people. Okay, Ashu visits the website 10 times, Habib just visits the website once, Pawan visits the website 100 times. How does Google distinguish between Ashutosh, Habibul and Pawan? Anybody has an idea? Anybody has heard of the word cookies? Cookies, web cookies. Whenever you visit some good website, Western, usually this happens in websites which are from the States or websites which are, from Europe, because they have very big compliance. There will always be a thing which will open up, which will say, this website uses cookies to improve your user experience. By proceeding to use this website, you are giving us permission to use these cookies. If you don't want these cookies to be used, please exit the website. Okay. A cookie, it's not something to eat. A cookie is a code. Okay. So now I have Ashu uses the Chrome browser. Habib uses Mozilla or some other browser, and Pawan for some reason uses I don't even know the what they call Windows ke browser, what they call it. Oh, they call it Edge. Okay, so as soon as Ashu visits the website, and Chrome is loaded, this website puts a cookie on the browser. It takes a small piece of data and it puts that cookie on my Chrome website. So now if I visit, if on the same, now I browse the website and close the website. Okay, now if I want to, if I, like in the afternoon, I go again to facebook.com. Now this cookie being on this browser will tell Google Analytics that this is a user who is coming again. So this is a repeat user or a returning user. Cool. So now I've defined what a user is. A user is a unique person, or I would say a unique cookie, a unique browser cookie who visits the website. It could be a new user, completely new. There is no cookie on my website. Now, when I visit the website once, there is that little cookie on my website. Next time when I visit it, I will be a returning user. Okay, user. So first we learned session. Users trigger sessions. One user can trigger multiple sessions. A user can be a new user who does not have a cookie on their, on their browser for that website. And returning users are those who are coming again on the website. And how does Google know? There is a cookie which is there, which is present on the Chrome, on the browser. Okay. Now a couple of questions will be arisen. This returning user versus new user is not accurate. Now Mozilla does not support cookies. Mozilla is a very private browser. It does not allow for a lot of cookies. So if Habibul visited using Mozilla, every time Habib would come, he would be a new user. All right. Now, another thing could be that Pavan visited the website on Edge browser today. Tomorrow, he visited the website, and before visiting the website, he cleared cookies. Do you know that you can do that? You can go to your web browser and you can clear your cookies. So what happens is the cookie which was here has now been removed. So even though Pavan is a returning user, Google would still consider him as a new user. This is all I want you to understand. I don't want you to get into the intricacies right now. Only thing, sessions triggered by users. Users can be new users, completely new to the website, or returning users who come again and again. New users is a bit dodgy. You might be an old user, but if you clear your cookies, you can turn into a new user. As I've said, analytics is not accurate. Everything is not cent%. It just gives you a good idea about what's going on. Okay, I want you guys to completely understand this. All right, cool. Anybody who has any questions, give me a moment. I'll be back. 1 minute, please. Think of any questions that you have. Cool. I think you understand, or maybe you're really confused, because it is confusing, I have to say. But abhi tak jo maine bataya, I don't think it's very confusing. Okay, anybody has any questions, any doubts? Okay. Now I want to introduce you to a couple of other, how many have we done? We've done sessions 1, 2, 3, 4. In a way, like this is the same. So two main things we've talked about. We've talked about users and we've talked about sessions. Now let me define some more things. All right. So abhi tak we've talked about users. We've talked about sessions. Okay. Now this is my website. There is page, it's page A on the website, page A. Okay, I visit, I'm a user, I trigger a session. Now I can talk in these technical terms. I trigger a session on the website. Google Analytics is sent a code saying that, okay, at 7:45 p.m. on this date, obviously the date is also sent. You know, this user, anonymous user Ashu, okay, triggered one session on page A. Clear? No problem, no complication, right? This is simple. Okay. Now I don't go to page B. I'm supposed to go to another page, right? But I'm done. My work is done. I browse page A. I click on the cross and I exit page A. This is called a bounce. Bounce. Tappa. Okay. Now, if I talk about bounce, I can quantify this. Suppose in one day, and again, now let me take you to a date dimension. So whatever data you have in Google Analytics is associated with a date. So let's say today, not today, yesterday, 4th of June, 2020, there were, let's say 20 users that triggered 50 sessions. Okay. And on page A, there were 20, there were like, you know, there were 30 sessions. Out of this 50, 30 sessions were triggered on page A. However, out of those, 20 bounced. Okay, they bounced. They did not go to any other page, and only 10 went on next pages. So if I need to define, can I define a bounce rate? Bounce rate is number of bounces, 20 people out of total sessions. Again, I don't want to complicate it, simple. 30 came, 20 bounced in 200, which is approximately 66% bounce rate. All right. Or if I were to say, I were to make it easy, let me say that there were 40 people who came, out of which 20 dropped off, 20 went ahead. The bounce rate is 20 upon 40 into 100, which is 50%. One out of two bounced off the website. They did not do anything. They did not go to any other page. That's the basic definition. Okay, it's a bit more complicated, but this is how we call it. We say ki people who have not gone on more websites, on more web pages, they've not taken any action. They are bounced, people who have bounced. There are other things also, because if you take some kind of action on the website, push a button that sends a signal to GA, that's not a bounce. But I don't want to get into it. Okay, now tell me, a page has 90% bounce rate. Is it good or is it bad? Tell me, anybody, please speak out. So my main question is, okay, very good, Vansh. Vansh says it depends. Very, very good point. Vansh, actually it depends. Depends on what? Anybody?
So for example, if a person comes on a page and his purpose is fulfilled by just seeing what is up there on that page, so he can bounce back. So that bounce is considered good because what he came for, he got that.
Absolutely, right? So I came on one page. Okay, again, Habib, it all depends. Okay, now what happened was, okay, let me give you an example. Okay, there is some problem with my Android phone. I put an error key. I am getting this error on my Android phone. I put it on Google. First result comes up. I click on that result. I find my fix. I close it. It's a good thing, right? If I'm not able to find it on this page, I will go to one more page, another page, another page, another page. Then the bounce rate will be low, but I will not be helped, right? So one of the common misconceptions that everybody has is, why bounce rate is high, it is very bad. It's not necessary. If a person if a person is satisfied with just one page, let them be satisfied by one page. But anyway, bounce rate is something which is a metric which people use for engagement, usually they say that, especially for landing pages that are home pages, bounce rate should be less. So if a person comes to my home page, so I have, let's say, I have, page A, which is our home page. It has a 30% bounce rate, and page A dash, there is another version of the page A. I'm testing it, and page A dash has 90%. This might not be good, because when I want people to come on page A, I want them to browse, but then I want them to look at my products. So it says, hi, welcome to my place. This is who I am. Now view all products. When people click on products, they go to my product page, and this is what I want them to do. So in a way, a bounce rate can be an indication of the performance of the page, okay, and the engagement on the page. All right. Now, can I define something else? So within one session starts from page A to page B to page C to page D. Okay. Can I define something saying pages per session? Right? This session had 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. There was another session which had 3 pages, 2 pages. So can I define something which is an average page per session for a certain day? Right? Correct? No problem. And can I also define something which is called the average session duration, which can be calculated as the session duration divided by the number of sessions, or simply the sessions? I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong, right? There were, on a certain date, there are so many sessions on my website. There are different sessions which are being triggered. All of those sessions have a complete duration. So today people spend, let's say, 72 hours on my website. Different, if they're jumping from different pages, the total time of the session is 72 hours, and there are 100 people. So if I make a ratio, I can find out the average session duration, and I can say that page 1 has an average session duration of 2 minutes, while page 2 has the average session duration, has an average session duration of 5 minutes. Approximately this much time has been spent by people on that page. Correct? These metrics, when I talk about page per session and average session duration, and even the bounce rate, in a way, these are engagement metrics. How are people engaging on my website? All of these can be measured through these things. Because, I have some kind of a thing. I'm saying that this page has a very big bounce rate. Maybe people are not involved in that page. This page has a very low average session duration. Okay, people are spending 5 minutes. There is one page where people are spending 5 seconds. There is something wrong on that page, right? Correct? Did you understand this average session duration? I have a page A1. Okay, so I say if there is a page A, there are, let's say 100 sessions on that page. 100 sessions on that page. Whenever a page started, like 100 sessions started, the total time duration of those sessions was, let's say, 2 hours. So on an average, how much time did people spend on this page would be the ratio, which is the average of the time spent on the page. Okay, that's it. These are the only metrics that I'm going to talk about today. And now I know a lot of you are very, very confused. There might be a lot of questions in your mind. Can we go down to our dashboard and can we look at these metrics, and can we take out some sort of, things, some sorts of insights from our data? Let's do that. All right. Can we do that? If anybody has any doubts, I would say just hold on. Let me show you a couple of things, and then you will be like, oh my God. Aha. Okay. Once again, I'll write down my metrics. Users, sessions, bounce rate, page per session, and average session duration. All of these are engagement key metrics. So how engaged are people? If people are coming on your website and the page per session is a lot, so people on every session, people are visiting 10 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, it's much better than people visiting 1 page. Overall, I'm saying overall, there could be some websites that are designed for people to come on 1 page. I mean, you don't want people to go on multiple pages. You want to come on people to come on this page and make a sale. All right. Okay. So now I want to start with the backend. I'll share my screen. I want all of you to be on this view that I'm talking about. You will be here on the Google Merchandising Store. Okay. Within the master view of the Google Merchandising Store. All right. Okay. So now here I have on one tab page, let me open up the Google Merchandising Store ka, like, you know, like the page. Okay. Now let me show you something which is very, very funky. Okay. I want to show you something which is very, very cool. This is a trick that I used to do when I started learning analytics. I began to start learning analytics, and I used to like tashan marne ke liye, just to like, you know, show off. I would basically say, like, you know, I would sit on my analytics. I would ask a person, okay, do this. You go and you visit my website. They would visit the website. Then I would say that, okay, now don't tell me which page you're going to go on. Right now you're on the home page. Go on any page and I will tell you which page you're on. Okay. All of this was not a magic trick. In real time, I can actually find out. So the first section that I want to talk about is in real time, right now on this website. Okay, one second, I'll share my screen. Sorry. The first report that I want to talk about very briefly is the real-time report. The real-time report says that right now on this website, the merchandising store, there are 30 people, 30 users which are active. Okay. These are users on these pages. These are the pages where these users are active on. This is where they've come from. So if I talk about traffic sources, I can click on traffic sources and you can also click on it. Looking at traffic sources, it will tell me that out of these 31 people, and look at this, this is live. This is live. Out of 31 people, there are 23 people who have come from direct. So they just typed in Google Merchandising Store. 3 active users who have come from Google, and some have been referred by analytics and some have been referred by YouTube. Okay, so they know the source where this came from. Now, this is where they came from. What are they doing on the website? What they're doing will be on the content wala section. So 4 are on the home page, 3 are on the page titled Google eco-friendly, etc., etc., etc. All right. Can we check where we are? So we are on Google Redesign Stationery Notebook. Let me see if there's somebody from there. Let me first refresh this. I'm not even sure if it's the right, if it's shop dot. One second. So there should be a page which is Google plus Redesign Stationery Notebooks. One second, please. Can you guys see the page? It's called Notebook Stationery Google. No, this could be a different property altogether because this is store.google.com. One second, let me just check the other one. Shop.merchandising. I want to go back to that map. Oh, whatever. Anyway, but you get the gist, right? I don't think it's shop.googlemerchandisingstore.com. It must be some other URL because there are a couple of, there are a couple of regions in this shop. Okay. Cool. Now let me take you through a couple of things, only a couple of things. I want to understand the audience on the Google merchandising store. And within the audience, can I talk about the age, the gender, and the location? Again, these are dimensions. Okay, for that, and I encourage every one of you to play with this demo account. This demo account has been made for you so that you can understand. Without playing with it, you won't be able to understand. So now I will go to my audience section. Within the audience section, there is a section called demographics. Let me click on demographics. Look at this. Wow. Overview, age, and gender. Let me click on the overview. Now, remember, I had talked about the date range. Okay. Date range is very, very important because, you know, age, gender of people from which day to which day. Let me make it simple. Let's talk about yesterday. So you can come here and you can click on yesterday. So it's telling me right now that yesterday, amongst all the users, there were 58.4% women and 58.4% men and 41.6% women. And if you talk about the age group, the biggest age group of visitors was within 25 to 34. This was the second biggest, and this was the third biggest. Is it making clear? I mean, do you think that this is exciting? Okay, let me go to the age once again. So this is the overview. I can take a detail. I can bring up a detail. So this is the detailed thing. Now here it starts making some more sense. Okay. Now what you can observe here is it's not just absolute numbers. Let me ask you a question. Okay. So here you have the users, the sessions, the bounce rate, page per session, and the average session duration. No problem. You are all familiar with it, right? Now I want to define one more thing that I forgot. Can I define some kind of a goal saying purchase made? So if somebody has bought something, it is a goal which has been done. So let me do this. Let me again share my screen. And in this report, particularly in this report, and it's very important for you to understand this report, I have my conversions here. Let me just talk about the e-commerce conversions, because conversions for e-commerce websites are very awesome. Oh, wow, there aren't any sales yesterday. Let me just increase this time limit. Let me increase the time limit for all of April and May, because there weren't any sales in that time period, in that one day. Yesterday, nobody bought anything from the Google store. Wow, great. Okay, now I have a couple of questions with you. Here you can see the age group, how many users, how many sessions were triggered by the users, the bounce rate, page per session, and the number of transactions, like the number of sales that were done. Question, which is the age group that had maximum revenue in sales? Tell me. Very quickly. Which age group had the maximum revenue in sales? Guys, somebody please say it out. Bolo, bolo.
25 to 30.
25 to 34, right? 25 to 34 has the maximum revenue. All right. Now, this is where my answers start to flow in. Okay. So if I were to ask, which is the age group which has the maximum revenue, this is the age group. So if tomorrow somebody says that, okay, we want to do Facebook ads, which is the age group that you want to target? What will be your answer? You will say that you have to target 25 to 34. Clear? Now do you understand? Now this is the basic thing. Now another question. Which is the age group which has spent the least time on the website?
65 plus.
65 plus? No. Look at this. 2 minutes 46. 18 to 24 is even less. right? I mean, look at this, and no wonder, look at them. 18 to 24 are 26%. Look at this. Out of 41,000 users, 26% users were of the age of 18 to 24. However, they just contributed to 6% of the revenue. Can you understand here? This is very, very important. Looking at numbers doesn't make sense. You look at these numbers, you're very happy. No. What is the insight which comes out? The insight which comes out is, I'm very sorry, guys. Anybody who's here in the 18 to 24 age, you guys are broke. You just want to look at websites and you don't make a purchase. Okay. So even though 11,000 users out of 41,000, which is 26%, almost 1/4 of the users were of this age, they only contributed to 6%, $100 out of $1,500 of the revenue which was generated. So even though 18 to 24 is a very attractive group of people because they are on the website all the time, they're not buying anything. Now, do you understand how insights are merging with data? So tomorrow somebody asks me, I am like Habib is my boss. I am a new guy, I come there and I run a campaign for the Google store and I don't generate a lot of revenue. Habib will ask me, okay, now tell me, you ran a Facebook ad? I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, Habibul, sir. I ran a Facebook ad. What is the audience that you targeted? Sir, I targeted between, 18 to 20. Why did you target that audience? Because, sir, they're very happy audience. They are maximum on my website. Then Habib will be like, you idiot. I know they are the maximum on your website, but why don't you see that historical data says that they just browse, they don't buy anything. Out of 11,000 users, only 2 transactions have been completed, on that too for only $100. Even if they bought something, they bought cheap stuff. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Now, very quickly, let me take you through a couple of other. I'm not going to confuse you. There are thousands and hundreds and hundreds of different things. Okay, now let me take you to gender. Okay, very quickly, which gender is more profitable? Which gender contributes to more revenue? Okay, in this case, it's the men. Okay, so it's very, very close, very, very close. All right, no, it's women. Wow. So even though women were only 40%, can you see my screen here? 40% of the whole users for 2 months were women. However, these women still, they spent more time on the website and they did more purchases than the men. So women is something which is a profitable. Obviously, women mean business. They don't want to just like boys. They want to just come into a Play Store, look at the store. Okay, hey, lovely. Talk to the store manager. Ye kitne ka hai? How much is this for? Oh, this is not the right color, and go. Women are there to buy. So my profitable, which is the segment which is giving me maximum revenue? Age 24 to 34, women. All right. And now I can again make combinations. Now remember, I can make combinations. I can make a combination of women and age. So within women, which is the most profitable age? Can we try that? Let's try it. Because in this website, this analytics dashboard is made for, insights. So let me do this. Okay, let me only choose, I want to eliminate men from here. First of all, I can add another dimension to this. So I add a secondary dimension, let's say the age. So I add the age dimension here. Okay, now I have male, female, both age. Now I don't want male here. Let me add a filter. Let me go to advanced filter, include gender containing, only include gender containing female. So I have eliminated the men. And now it will become clear. Men ka data gone. Now tell me, guys, which age group amongst women is the most, generates the maximum revenue? Tell me. Same, right? 25 to 34. Look, now I have said that women within 25 to 34 have the maximum revenue. Look, $321 has been generated by women within this age. Next big thing is 35 to 44. This, and look at this, awesome. 18 to 24, no sales at all. Women within 18 to 24 have not bought anything at all. Awesome. Guys, is this, I think this is awesome, right? I mean, now do you understand how great digital marketing is? Can you understand the kind of targeting, the kind of, the ways by which I can target people and get to them, right? Awesome. So now I want to complete this class. I want to take just 10 more minutes and I want to leave you here with these questions. Okay. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys an assignment. Okay. So what I'll do is the same thing, Google Merchandising Store. I will ask you around, let's say 10 questions about people, about user behavior, and you have to answer these questions. 5 will be very easy. Now I'll say 8 will be very easy. 2 will be very tough, but they will not be out of your scope. Okay. And I will give, okay, so this is my contest. Okay. Whosoever gets the best marks, I will give you a 100 rupees ka Amazon coupon. How's that? Okay. I'm going to announce a reward. I'm scared. I'm done with throwing chocolates at you. Whosoever is my best student, and this I'm announcing, there will be people who will be also watching this. The best marks, whosoever gets, I'll give you 100 rupee coupon. Guys on YouTube, I'm not giving you any coupons. Okay. Next time, probably. Okay. So very quickly, I want to go back. All right. Tell me, guys, just tell me, open up. Like, is this nice, right? I mean, doesn't this seem like a wow thing? Now, one more thing. Locations. So very quickly, if I want to talk about locations, simple. I look at the country. Wow, look at this, yeah. Look at this. India is number 2. India is number 2. Awesome. So look at this. So if I talk about, so now remember, between April 1 till May 31st, 2 months, maximum users came from United States and next from India. Oh my God, I don't even want to make a stereotype, but it's not a stereotype. Look at this. There were no purchases that were made from India, probably because this is a website for the United States. Its payment is in dollars and the payment is done through gateways. So all of these visitors were probably people who were here to learn analytics, because there aren't any sales from UK as well. The only sales which are here are from Canada and from the US. So this is one more thing. Okay, I won't waste a lot of time. You can later on go through this. Now, another very important thing amongst the audience is very, very important. My question is, how many people came through mobile and how many people came through desktop? So I will go to mobile. See, within audience, I will go to mobile and overview. Look at this. Now, this is something which is very, very surprising, guys. Very, very surprising. More people came on desktop. Nearly 70% of the users came from desktop and only 28% from mobile. And if I talk about the revenue, mobile has more revenue than desktop. Is there an explanation for this? Tell me. There must be an explanation for this. And it's right there. It's out there. I'll tell you what the explanation is. People on desktop who are coming to this website are probably here to learn analytics. So they're here to browse. They're browsing a lot of. So look at this. The page per session is also a lot. They are looking at more pages. They are spending more time because, they are just playing with the website, going here and there, and they're not purchasing as much as mobile. Usually mobile is 80%, 70% at least of the traffic. Here, everything is reversed. Okay. Now let's have some more fun. Let's go to this. And I want you guys to go over all of these options. If there are any doubts or any problems, you ask me. We will do a more advanced thing here later on. And I will also take your doubts on this. This is a lot of fun. Just go to this account and keep playing through it. In one day, you will not understand everything. Look at devices. Let's look at devices. Okay. So now, same thing. Audience, mobile, devices. Wow. Look at this. Most popular device, Apple iPhone. Okay. Second most popular device, iPad. Surprising. A lot of Google phones, because a lot of people from Google will probably be buying it. Google gives all these merchandises for free anyway. One of my friends works in Google. He gets these bags and caps and hats all the time. I envy him. And not for the bags and caps, more because he works at Google. Great. Okay. Now let me take you to somewhere else. Now let me take you to acquisition. In acquisition, the only thing that we talked about was the source and medium. Where did these people come from? Let me click on it. Look, 2 months, April 1 to 31st. Biggest acquisition source, Google Organic. People are typing Google Merchandise Store. This is what you would do also, because you know that there is a Google Merchandise Store and they are coming on it, and that's generating the maximum revenue as well. Direct is number 2. Look at this. There's a lot of referrals from analytics because people are in the analytics account and then going on that website. All right. And these are all the places that it's coming from. Okay. A lot of people from Japan. Baidu. Look, Baidu is a search engine from Japan. I'm sorry, from China. Baidu is a search engine from China. So this is from, from Baidu, Chinese people organically. Next time we will break this. We will say that which is the most popular from China. We'll just split it all up. And that is that then it will become a lot of fun. Today, I don't want to confuse you. I just want to show you a couple of things. And remember, this does not change. Users, new users, sessions, bounce rate, page per session, average session duration, and one transaction. All of this we've discussed. Okay. Now, let me go to behavior. So I've shown you one from audience. I've shown you one from acquisition. Okay. Now let me take you to behavior, which is the last thing that we'll talk about. Let me go to site content. Within the behavior, let me talk about landing pages. What were the landing pages that people came on? Not surprisingly, almost everybody starts from the home page. Okay. The second most popular page, landing page, is this one, shop by brand. See, I'll tell you how that, did you see that there was an acquisition coming from Google Analytics? Let me show you how that acquisition is coming. When I click on this, okay, when I click on this, it will take me to that page from Google Analytics. So now this is, this is an acquisition. It says page not available. I don't know what they did, but this acquisition is coming from Google Analytics. That's why one of the top acquisition, sources where people came from was Google Analytics, because people are clicking on links here and then going there. All right. That's it. That's about it. These are the only things that I'm going to talk about today, at least today. Tomorrow, like next time, not tomorrow, but in the next class, we can answer a lot of questions, saying that we can talk about a lot of questions like within China, which was the most popular page? In Canada, which was, which one was more profitable? Was mobile or desktop more profitable? All right. We can have a lot of things, but all of it is within these pages. All right. Now, the last part of my lesson, which will only take 2 minutes. If you guys are very serious about, because I heard a lot of people talking about certifications, about learning, not just learning, but getting certificates. There is a course that Google has. It's in fact not just a course. They have created a complete academy, which is called the Google Analytics Academy. That academy has around 4 or 5 courses, 2 courses, which are the basic beginner and a slightly advanced course. I would recommend that all of you guys and girls do those courses. In fact, the first one, you definitely have to do it. It's very, very interesting. Let's have a thing in which, you guys do that course, and then you can come back and you can ask those doubts from me. All you have to do is you have to go here and say Google Analytics Academy. Okay. Look at this, Google Analytics Academy. Within this, you will log in through your Gmail. It will give you a list of courses. Look, I'm logged in through my Gmail address here. So whichever Gmail, because this Gmail address will be the one which will be used for your certificate. Look at these. Analytics for beginners, advanced, power users, and this is separate. 360 and Data Studio and Tag Manager. Don't do it. I would recommend you guys to do the first one. and you will get a, I don't know, maybe they do give a certificate. I'm sure they give a certificate, because you know, one of the very popular keywords, when I type in academy, look at this, everybody is looking for answers. This is really disappointing, right? People want to do this course and then they want to cheat, right? Because they just want to pass. So everybody is looking for, see, assessment 1 answer, assessment 2 answer. Please don't do it. If you have doubts, okay, if you have doubts, you ask me. I don't want you to cheat on this. So it has a lot of units. There is unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. When you complete it, I don't really know if it's there. I think they do give a certificate for it also. Okay. Anybody has any doubts, any problems? Simple. You know, you can go here. I would really recommend that you do this part 1 before we do the second lesson, because in the second lesson, I'm going to get a bit advanced. I will send you guys a quiz on Google Analytics. I will grade the quiz. There will be some questions there, and there will also, and I will also pick up some advanced topics. Okay. Let me just do this outro for the YouTube audience, and then we can talk for a couple of minutes if you have any doubts. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a lot. You know, all my classes are as wonderful as this class. So if you want to look at the other classes, and I suggest that you start from class 1. Link is at the bottom, like in the description box, a link for the playlist. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone, and keep watching Learn Digital Marketing with Ashish. And I will teach you digital marketing like a pro. Thank you.